Okay, hi and welcome back. Let's go ahead and continue on with three-point perspective with our cityscape. So what we want to do now in this particular part of it is to go ahead and put some more buildings out. I'm going to put a few more out here in the deeper background space, and then I'm going to let you go for a while because I want you to make your own composition in terms of finishing out your placement of buildings. I don't want you to copy me directly in that. And then I'm going to come back with the next video lesson afterwards and start to show you how to make buildings. You may or may not be able to see it over here, but a little sketch over here where I'm actually making the buildings look a little bit more like actual buildings, and we'll tighten up the drawing. We may do some things with the street over here, and over here do something a little bit more interesting and fantastical over in these areas, but I want to get the basics of my thinking and the rest of my composition down, and then let you go off and do your own thing for a while with putting more buildings out there, and then we'll come back, like I said, and then I'll show you again how to tighten up these buildings and make them look a little bit more specific. So, okay, I'll keep going here. I'm going to put a few more buildings out through here, I think out through here, and that'll be it for that part of my lecture. So just remember that you don't want any of your building forms to be taller than the horizon line, because if we're flying over, let's say within a helicopter, etc., and so on, we might get hit by it. So we don't want it to be higher than the horizon line. We'll keep it lower. All right, so I'm going to put a few more over here in the background. I think I'll throw out a few convergence lines over here to fulfill some buildings back in through here. Thrust a few convergence lines this way, and coming back from the left vanishing point, we'll do a few lines this way and over here. So I'll make another building back here. You know, one case in point as you're drawing right now, still along with me, is, you know, as we move further and further back in space, we probably want to start making our buildings also in our perceptual sense smaller than these buildings up and through here in terms of width, and also relatively in height, to get that sense of deep space where we're pushing back and we have our foreground objects coming forward. So we just keep that in mind. So now I'll come up, let me outline that in green so you'll see that better. So we have this bottom box here. And I think again I'll set down a few more buildings on the ground plane so you can see everything. So we've got that one. And I think I'll put one more maybe out here a little bit. Give that a new convergence line through here and over. And I'll project another set of convergence lines here, going back to the right vanishing point, then going back to the left vanishing point through here. So we have that there. Then I'll tighten it up a little bit here in green so you can see the difference between the two colors for now and get a better sense or better feel for what's happening. So we've got that and that. And then let me put a couple over through here. So I think I'll also put some behind these buildings too as well, but maybe where they're being cropped out a little bit from these front boxes, so that we get some nice interplay between positive and negative space moving through these forms and objects as well. So I've got some convergence lines already mapped out through here. I think I'll use a few of them kind of right in through here. I think I'll show you what I'll do in green over here. And if it doesn't work out for you, you don't have to use it. You could actually go on and make your own buildings. But I wanted to show you. So I'll put one building, the front plane here, and we'll use this back convergence line for the back of the building. And so now, drawing from here back to the left vanishing points, I'll use that back convergence line, and then from right here, going back to the left vanishing point, I'll use that as another convergence line. And so there's the the back of that building right there. I'll outline it in green so you can see it a little bit better. Just make sure when you're drawing your convergence lines, you want to keep that very light, very crisp, clean as you possibly can. These need to be as light as possible. All right, so I've got another building there, and then maybe one, I'll put one back here a little bit maybe between these two, but again, far enough in the background that there'll be no case where any building will be jammed together for now at least. So we've got that. So let me thrust a convergence line, let's say here. So that's going to be the front plane of our building with enough distance between the back of the building and the front of this one to have plenty of space where people can walk through. And then I'll come over and use my left vanishing point, and I'll use this convergence line right here at the back of the building, which will be right here as I line it up. There we go, right in through there. And then now from this point, I'll go back to the left vanishing point here and here. And there's the bottom of my next building right there. Okay, so I think that'll be enough. So let's build now the heights of these buildings up, and we'll cut them off the top. That'll give me, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, I believe 15. Let me do that again. I'm going to miss one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, you're responsible for at least 20 or 25. I forget what I said last lecture, but let's make it 25. I'll make sure I make sure that's the number. So 25 full buildings, and I'm going to finish these at 15, and then I'm going to leave off, and I'm going to do some another lecture on how to make your buildings more building-like. Put a road in. Maybe we'll put a waterfall cliff over here, close to, maybe this city is close to a coast or a cliff. That might be pretty interesting. Maybe bad engineering, but it may be visually interesting. And so you'll see how you can make a finished kind of sketch drawing in perspective. But I want you to have some creative input as to where you put the last 10 or so buildings. Okay, so let's build the heights of our forms. And so we'll start with this one over here. So from the vertical vanishing point, I'll build a height up. And we won't make it as tall as this building, but we have to know its height. So I'll make it about that tall, which would be about right here. Here's my dot for my height, okay? And then I'll come back to the left vanishing point here, draw my convergence line, and then we'll come up with our height from our vertical vanishing point to the back, left, here and up, stop where it meets our convergence line right there, actually. It's right there. So sometimes you can get confused. I went a little too high, but there's the side of our building right there. And then from this point, we'll go all the way back to the right vanishing point. Here to there we go. Take that back all the way over. And then here's our line for our right plane of our building. And then from the vertical vanishing point up through the bottom right here. Here's the right plane. And then now it's basically a 2-point drawing. So from this point over to the left vanishing point, and this point over to the right vanishing point with our convergence lines. So we'll have that, and we'll have this coming back over. There to there. Okay. So we've got that. Okay, so there's our next box being cropped by the box in front, building being cropped by the building in front, so we have this building set in there. Okay, so let's build this building up that's sitting behind the triangular building and this building in front here. We'll build that up higher so we can see it a little bit. So from the vertical vanishing point through the bottom, we'll come up some here, and then from its top, we'll go back to the left vanishing point there and over. Got that. Then again from the vertical vanishing point through the bottom of our building up to the convergence line where it meets right there. And then up. There we go. So we'll build that one up. We have that. And then we have from our vertical vanishing point through this point of our back building, right here and up. Actually, you know what we need to do? We need to take this over to this corner over to the right vanishing point. Let's do that first. We could have done it that way, but it's actually just more logical this way. Right in through here and over. So we have the convergence line for our top right plane, and from the vertical vanishing point up through the point here and over. There's our right plane, and we'll just darken it in a little bit so you can see it. Now, as we're getting closer, you notice I'm getting closer to the horizon line here. This is a pretty tall building when in comparison to these as we fly, if we came up to that one. So that's closer to our eye level. Just be mindful of that. But we are going to still see the top of this building, but much less so than these, since we're looking more down on these. These are closer to our eye level. So from the right corner to the left vanishing point, back all the way over. Same thing from the left to right. So left vanishing point, back over to the right vanishing point, here to here, and where they meet, where the convergence lines meet, right there to there, that's where the building is. So we have that one set in, and we just have a couple of more now to do here. So I've got these two left. So let's do the front building here, and we'll put it in from the vertical vanishing point up to its front corner here, up maybe about this high, getting close to the horizon line. And then from the top over to the right vanishing point, draw our convergence line over. So you should be able to do this pretty cleanly and clearly now. And the line up vertical vanishing point to the right corner, and there's our plane, the right side of our building, right there. And now we want to do the same thing going back to the left vanishing point. So it's going to still angle up slightly. This is our horizon line. That's true level and straight. So we're still going to have an angle probably about like that, where we still see the top of that building. Ever so slightly, but we do see it. Okay, so we've got that to there. There's our angle. Yeah, pretty good, pretty accurate. And then to finish it off, from the vertical vanishing point up to the corner here and up and over. There we go. Got that. All right, so there to there, there to there, and now let's finish the top. So from the right corner back to the left vanishing point, ever so slightly. This is where it helps to have a really sharp pencil. I've got a pretty blunt marker tool, so I have to fudge it a little bit, but you got to be careful. So I got to be careful when I show you this. And from there, here's the corner about right there. So it almost looks like a straight line. So I'm going to darken it in so you'll see it with a little sharper point. So it's actually a little bit more clear. We have to be careful there. So we have that, and we have that, and we have the bottom. And then the bottom of the building here and here. Okay, so we have that over, and then that over to the right, and then back to the left here, and then back to the right here. So now you can hopefully see better that I've got just a slight view of that top in my composition. So we have that as well. Okay, so we have one more building to finish here. At least I do. This will give me 50, you have 25. So, you know, think about where you want more buildings to be. They can still be tiny buildings through here. You can put all 10 of your other buildings in through here, or interspersed, etc., and so on. Keep them outside of this plane and this plane. No buildings here or no buildings here. We want to put a cliff maybe over through here, etc., and so on. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So we've got this last building to build, to draw, and so from the front corner We'll come up through the vertical vanishing point to about right there. I'll stop, and then from the left vanishing point over, and that gives us most of our left plane. We'll bring another vertical up here to the left corner, and there's our left plane of our building. And so this building is a little cropped by the other building there. And so now we'll go back to the right vanishing point with the convergence line here, and up through the vertical vanishing point to that corner, right through there, and we have our right plane of our building. And then now we're going to have a little sliver of that top plane of our building up and through here. So really sharpen your pencils. Always keep them sharp anyway, but especially so here because you really want to be as accurate as you can. So from the right corner back to the left vanishing point, and from the left corner back to the right vanishing point here, and now we have the next building through there. So let me go ahead and outline them a little darker in black so you see them clearly. Remember, we only want to outline the parts that we see here, and there. Okay, so not that one, not that part of it. So you got to be careful. You got to watch. Even I miss it sometimes. Through here to there. Here's the right side and the back side of our building, right in through here. Okay, so we have that, and then we see just the parts of the top of this building here to there coming down, to there coming down, and I don't think we see anything else after that. A triangular building is there, etc. and so on, and so we have this top of our building there, and that's already done, and then I'll come back and grab this one here. There we go. And then I'll go ahead and throw in the initial shading plane in our 1, 2, 3 step shading. And again, our light source is coming from the left. And so the right side of our building will have a little shading here. You see that. Then this one over here can shade back to the vanishing point so you can see it better. Okay, so we've got that one, and then these two here. All right, okay, and then I'll throw a little light with the chalk too as well. Chalk's over here, so you can just start to see that emerging right in through here, and right in through there. Top here, top, and the top there. Okay. All right, so that gives me 15 buildings. You're responsible for 25 buildings. When we come back, what we'll start to do, and this is after you do all of your 25 buildings, so get your 25 buildings locked in, and then come back to the next video, and then I'm going to show you how to turn your buildings, your basic structures, into more refined, more finished looking sketch structures. Throw some light on them, throw some detail on them. We'll work on the park a little bit, add some trees. Then we'll add, make a more clear road here. Maybe add some dividing lanes, maybe some dots and dashes for cars. And then we're going to put maybe a cliff and a waterfall over here, which will probably be crazy engineering. You don't want to build a city probably right next to, you know, a waterfall, but heck, it's our drawing, and we can be as fantastical as we want. And so we'll try to get it closer to a finished sketch, and then you'll take off from there and complete your drawing too as well. Okay, so get your other 10 buildings in, then come back to this one, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye bye.